I think if I'm not wrong, I saw your stock list. You have your stock some of this general purpose. So these are what we call the general purpose. And so in terms of selling, these are more of the fast selling items. These are things that we sell more
frequently
in the market. So usually people look for these stuff. So yeah. So these are, and most of these are made in China. General purpose are usually made in China. So other than the R series might be made in Europe, might be made in US, and might be made in China. So there are three different manufacturing sources depending on tonnage capacity. The bigger ones should, if I'm not wrong, should be made in Europe or maybe in US. Okay, the smaller ones usually are made in China. Okay, so it depends on the cylinder model.
The RR models are normally made in US.
It used to be all made in US. I think recent years now, the smaller tonnage one, the like 50 ton and below, made in China. And then we also have some of the bigger ones like 200 ton, 300 ton are made in Europe. So I'm not very sure which one made. So just if country of origin is a concern, do check the releases. Because do check. Usually what we do is we will check our system against the country of origin, and if not those on our stock, we will check the country of origin and tally against what we have on our record. So before we issue any certificate. Because I know we encountered before, sometimes we put like US, then we ship and label put China, and the customer so we have to be a bit more careful.
Sure.
Okay. Yep. All right.
Oh, excuse me. Another question about how about this kind of product need any certifications when they receive
Okay, so we have to be very careful when we talk about certificate. This certificate, right? Okay. One thing you must understand about the manufacturing for ENERPAC. All products are manufactured in batches. That's why if you look at the date code here very carefully, it's here the week and the year. So for example, there is 1 week you can maybe produce 100 of RC106 or maybe 50 of RC106. So is when we talk about test certificate, right? We do not test individual cylinder. We do not test because it's like we design, we just fabricate, design, and assemble and sell. It's like a mass production in batches. So if you are talking about test cert, right, you must know what's the reason for test certificate. Okay, if the customer wants a test cert because of pure, because they just want to have a test cert to make sure the product is working well, what they are looking for is actually load test, load testing. Okay, load testing, what they usually being conducted, right? It is done in the test lab. So when test lab, when they will act against a load cell and do usually a static load test, and then see to verify the pressure against the load pressure is tallies against the specific catalog. So other than that, but that load test is specific to that cylinder. So when you ask for a test cert, right, it means your test cert is specific to the cylinder that you purchase. Okay, so we don't provide test cert, but we have to make sure, because as I mentioned, ours is batch tested, batch production. We do not have test cert for specific cylinder. Okay, if the customer insists want a test cert, right, I'm not saying cannot, but you will be chargeable, and you send to a third party lab to do a testing. Okay, why? You can explain to the customer in the ways that for ENERPAC products, we are batch manufacturer. We don't test individual each and every cylinder. Okay, so that's number one. And two, when we talk about test certification, why we don't provide test cert for every product, right? It's because every country has different requirement for test standards. Okay, so for example, Singapore, we based on the SIM-class standard. Malaysia, I can't remember what's the test standard. So every country has. So if I give you one, it might not conform to your country's test. So it's not possible for us to have one tester for every Okay, and thirdly, we are not a test lab because when you want to perform tests, your facility must be accredited.
Third party
Yes.
down to the country, right?
Correct. You must test to the certain standard. So your lab must have a certain meet certain requirement in order to be a test lab. So it's not possible for us to be to have this kind of facility because in the first place our business is selling tools. We are not a test laboratory. So there's no way we can provide that. So if the customer wants to have a test certificate for the cylinder, firstly of course they must provide us the cylinder, and then it will be a third party test and it's chargeable. Yeah, we will send to a third party lab, for example, a DNV, because DNV global standard, and then they will do that part is chargeable, and usually load test is very expensive.
Load test is expensive.
Yes, very expensive. So the load test might be, the cost of load test might be more expensive than the cylinder.
Oh, really?
Yes. So that's why in the market no one asks for load test cert. If they want, they can do it themselves, but not. We don't supply. Okay, because it does not make sense. Because we charge the customer, we definitely have to mark up. So it will be higher. So I will strongly recommend that they do the load test locally.
Okay. I take note.
So
But excuse me, for the load test in DNV in Singapore, normally says even distributor requires ENERPAC Singapore to do that load test for the user or send to.
Should be DNV usually
DNV Singapore.
but very expensive. I think if you take, for example, a 10-ton cylinder, if I'm not wrong, the charge for a 10-ton cylinder is almost 200 to 300 Sing dollars. Almost can buy.
Expensive more than the cylinder.
Yeah, it's very expensive. So I don't. If there's no need, then don't do lah. No point. Okay, so that's why I don't recommend that. So if load test for cylinders, I don't think I don't think you can commit to any load test. And for other tests like the gauges or this, right? If you want us to answer, I'm not saying cannot, you can, but you also will charge, and it's it will be expensive. So because it's not done by us, we send it out money. So I will strongly recommend that if you all have any, for example, customer require calibration, maybe you can. I think there's some test lab in Scotland, and you go with them and you can send to them. Okay.
So because I want to ask, talking about a certificate or testing is only talking about a road test or any things, the other different kinds of testing.
Okay, for cylinders, right, it's just cloak test. Okay. So for pump, there's no way you can. There's no test standard for pumps.
No test.
No. I mean, there's no test certificate for pumps. There's no way you can provide test certificate because the certification is only verify how accurate. So the only way they verify is just based on the measurement instrument, which is gauge, transducer, pressure transducer. So if you have that kind of requirement, yes, gauge can be calibrated. I mean, as in verified. Transducer can be verified. But if you are talking about calibration of pump, there's no way you can calibrate pump.
Because it looks like the pump has a specification that is can raise maximum 10,000 psi. And how about the customer want to know that does this pump can create the maximum pressure like specific spec or not?
What we can do is we can issue an internal cert.
Internal cert.
Yeah, it's like a certificate of manufacturer. Then you say that it conforms to 10,000 psi.
Look like the certification about quality, right?
Yes. I know this one.
CQ.
Yes, we do that. We do provide that.
That CQ is issued by ENERPAC Singapore.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So because I know because Vietnam always asks this COM, COO, COQ, COT. And it's only Vietnam only. The rest of the country.
Only Vietnam.
Our customer require CQ. secure from ENERPAC and all
Yes,
this.
correct,
Okay.
correct.
Yeah.
Understand.
Because they want to ensure that it's a training products.
Correct.
Because it's, it's a very high pressure, so
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And also one way because I know one of the reasons this and then for the clearance and because they want to make sure it's authentic, not imitation.
Yes.
I deal with them a lot, so that's why normal we encounter many times all the certificates
Yes.
from Vietnam. And then if you want to have those type of certificate like from the Chamber of Commerce,
Yeah.
Chamber of Commerce with that Korea,
Yeah.
that one, Vietnam sometimes you need the certificate of Chamber from Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
If you like the shoe Koreans will ask you to do
CO.
that.
to ensure that this product is import from Singapore.
Correct.
Yeah.
So this one
Not from China.
So
like
you-
that.
I know. So you let Koreans know and Koreans will make the arrangement for you. Okay. Yep. So we also have this high tonnage cylinder. So we have this high tonnage cylinder series like the LPL, HCR, HCG, HCL. So why we call this high tonnage cylinder? Because this one is usually for we can go up to 1,000 ton.
Yeah.
Okay. So these cylinders are usually used in those type of infrastructure, construction, very high load kind of application. Okay. So LPL. Okay. LPL is a lock nut pancake cylinder. Okay. So firstly, LPL low profile nut. Okay. Why low profile? I mean by that, low profile means very thin.
Yeah. Thing.
Very thin. Okay, the stroke is very strong, but the thing is, it's a lock nut feature.
Yeah.
So lock nut, you have to. What happens is the plunger, the cylinder rod is threaded. Okay, threaded. So and on top of this, you can see this one is a nut.
Nut.
Nut like a bolt nut, screw nut.
Yeah.
Okay, a nut, and there's a hole there for Tommy bar, the bar to turn the nut. Okay, because so. What happens, how to use this cylinder is when you, after you lift up the extend, when you reach the stroke that you want, okay, or lift up, you can turn the nut down. Turn it down, down the strap, go down the rod, then up to the base. And then when you release the oil, it provides a mechanical lock using the trap and the nut to hold the load. Okay, so why do we need this? Okay, because if for example, I give you an example in a lifting application,
Yeah.
if the customer after lifting he wants to hold the load for a long period of time.
Yep.
Okay, if you use a hydraulic just to hold, it's not safe for long period of time because why? Imagine if the hose burst.
Yep.
Then lose the pressure.
Dangerous.
When you lose pressure,
Yeah.
the load will drop. Or if there's leaking,
Yep.
the oil leak, the pressure drop, the whole load will drop also. Okay, and also don't forget when you do that, when you use hydraulic, your pump have to be stuck almost pretty much stuck there for the whole job. So you are losing so-called. It's not cost effective because your pump can be used for other jobs instead of leaving there for the whole time. Okay, so the hydraulic, the long nut cylinders are very useful in a way because after they lift the load, when you turn the lock nut down, it provides a mechanical lock. So you can release the oil and you will still hold the load there because it's now held by the lock nut. Okay, so and then you can bring the pump out to different place and do other job. And after they can hold it for months and years actually because it's provide mechanical lock. Okay, so usually where we use the lock nut cylinders, for example, in infrastructure projects, like for example bridge section.
Yeah, bridge.
Okay, when you build the bridge, after they put the bridge, the pillar, the bridge section over, right? After they need to adjust, and then they lock it whole. And then while they do the other works below and stuff, and then after that, when they finish the job, they remove the cylinders out, they leave it and reduce the cylinder. Or in the past, when customer had more budget, they just bury the cylinder out with the bridge. And they do take the cylinder out. Last time when people have more money, now they use the cylinder. Yeah. So that's one like bridge section, or when they want to maintain the bridge, because under every bridge section there are bridge bearing.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you want to maintain, change out the bearing, you use the long nut cylinder, the lift, lock, and then remove the bearing, replace, and then so this is how usually the long nut cylinder for maintenance.
Yeah.
Or those structure, they build a certain structure, while they need to do some more works, they will need to hold the load for a long period. They use the long nut cylinder. Okay, so we have the CHCL and LPL. The LPL is a low profile. So when there's a height constraint, space constraint, they use the low profile with the. Yeah. So if there's no height constraint but they need a longer stroke, then they use a HCL. Okay, so these are all our long nut cylinders. So it really depends on the space constraint that you need. And then this one will be a higher tonnage capacity. This one up to I think 400 LPL before. So these are the long nut cylinders. Okay, long nut cylinders. Okay, and take note, these long nut cylinders are load return. Load return.
No return.
Yeah, so that means when you release the pressure, for it to fully retract back, you need to apply load.
Push what?
You need to apply some load on it for it to fully retract. If you don't apply load, you just let it return, it might be able to return, but take very, very long. Because you have to overcome the friction, then you hope for gravity. So you need to push it down for load return. So this type of cylinder, take note, if it's load return, it's not really suitable for those type of works that be fast. Okay, so if the load return cylinder like this, when they finish the job, when they remove it, it will be stuck.
So soon after customer use the double acting, right?
Yeah, right. That one of course will be good lah. But of course, sometimes the load return, that's why they have to knock it out. So take note, load return, and take note they have an end stroke because there's no stop ring. There's a long nut and no stop because of the threaded, no stop ring. So if you overstroke, you pop out. So you have to be careful when you use handle long nut cylinders.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So and then also with the single acting and double acting cylinders. Single acting, this one is a load return as well, HCG. There's no spring inside, so it's load return cylinder. Okay, so some people prefer single acting, some people prefer double acting, but actually for jobs, usually for infrastructure projects application, you use double acting. Okay, especially long stroke cylinders, I would strongly recommend double acting because the single acting will take very long for it to retract back.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the thing about the difference between this series and our larger competitor is like for this series, our high tonnage cylinder is come with natural carbonized coating, so it's anti-corrosion, suitable for those offshore environment or highly corrosive kind of environment. Okay, so then we have this natural carbonized coating on the body and the temperature. This high tonnage series. Yep. So, okay, now, this is the key part of the cylinder selection. Okay, this is very critical because you need to understand these questions in order to size the correct, configure correct cylinders for the application. Firstly, tonnage. Just now there's a question on the imperial and the matrix, right? If you remember what I said just now, the cylinders most are generally imperial. So you compare against short and imperial matrix, Imperial is short. And matrix, if you compare 20 ton Imperial versus the 20 ton matrix, is
Yes.
different. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay? Then if you talk about 20 ton matrix is equal to 22 ton Imperial.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a short and Imperial, have to be careful. So if let's say the customer put out a tender, it states metric ton.
Metric ton.
For example, 50 metric ton. You cannot use the 50 ton size of 50 tons anymore because ours is 50 Imperial. So you have to go the next one maybe a 75 ton instead of 50 ton. Or you have to let the customer know, and if the customer can accept, then you can size 50 ton. So be careful, metric and Imperial.
So it's around 10 ton in metric. It's equal to
Around 12, around I think it should be 12 Imperial.
Yeah.
So it's around 10% difference. So that to be
It's
careful.
less than 80%. So.
No, 80% rule is different. Wait, if you read our catalog, if you read catalog, right, all of the cylinders are designed to the maximum capacity, 10,000 psi. The tonnage capacity as like 10 ton, it will be 10 ton, 100 ton. It can go up to this at maximum pressure.
Yes.
Okay, but we always encourage to use the user to use at 80%. Okay, why so? Because to cater some buffer for the any event that something happened. Okay, so capacity, the 80% rule is not just on pressure and stroke. Pressure is also on stroke. Stroke. We also encourage user to use 80%. Why? So if you restaurant rules, I'll talk about side load. Okay, side load. If you go to maximum stroke, if you use that side load, you see, I'm more unstable. Unstable. But if you use 80%, 80%, it's more stable here, so it's harder. So it can withstand side load better, and your life of the cylinder can be prolonged because you use 80% of the stroke. So, okay, so this is what I mean by side load.
Yes.
Okay, so it will help. So when we talk about 80% rule, right, we are not just talking about pressure, we are also talking about stroke length. Okay.
80% is choke length.
It's
Choke length.
Stroke length and
my last
also
question.
the load. Yes.
Choke
Okay.
length.
So it will increase the safety and also improve the stability. Okay. And
choke length.
always use the pressure gauge. And of course, this when you use 80%, improve the tool life and safety. So you see some of the cylinders happen like this. Because of old extreme side loading. Okay. So this is the part that you.
That is 80% in stroke length, not in capacity ton.
Both also both.
Both.
Okay. It is in capacity and stroke. Okay, but customer usually don't care. Customer usually want to but it's just a good practice to mention that. But of course, it's a good practice to remind them of this. Why? Because the customer usually they think 10 ton, why 10 ton just nice. They didn't think of the Ferguson factor. What if they measure wrongly? What if their load is 11 ton instead of 10? What if there's something stuck there, there's friction and they need more than 10 ton?
Yes.
So it's a good practice for a salesperson to go and remind it, hey, you just nice, not safe. Maybe you want to consider upsize a bit more.
Yes.
So then that's where customer will think back, yes, right, actually we should do that. So but of course if they use it before then maybe then fine, it's their risk. Okay? But I also think if the customer asks you certain advice on lifting, right? Okay. One thing we have to know is we are selling tools only. We are selling product. We can advise on the product to their requirement, but we are not in the position to tell them you need this product. Okay, there's a very big difference. For example, I give you an example for a lifting job. For example, they lift 1,000 ton. We can recommend them to use. They ask us to recommend what else. Okay, we ask them for you can use 500 tons, so that we have 50% recommend. But we do that. But the thing is, those type of methods, that how to lift, how to go about lifting, where to put the cylinder, is not our. We are not in position to tell them that. Okay, because when you advise them, tell them this, how to where to put the cylinder, how to use what cylinder, you are taking on the liability because they follow your instruction to do the job. So we are just selling product. We are not the advisor. It's the method of statement, how to leave, what to leave, right? It should come from the customer, not come from us.
Yeah.
Okay, because when you tell them what to do, why to set up, they are taking on the risk.
Yeah.
So don't do that. Okay, but we can you customer, you let them give the info. We recommend the product. How you do, whether you do it right, is the customer's liability. Okay, so we only sell product. Don't fall into the trap because some customers, they don't engage a consultant. They don't. They just come directly to you, want you to provide everything. They expect you to take on the whole responsibility. Don't fall into that trap because it's very dangerous. Because you are taking on the liability. And let's not forget, we are doing high tonnage, heavy lifting. Heavy lifting, we are talking about things like few hundred tons, thousands of tons of load. Usually when it comes to that kind of capacity, the structure is very high cost. Any project, sometimes the safety buffer, they don't, maybe they